We always like participation from all of you, and you've had questions coming in and day out about this T20I series. Interestingly, today we've got a very pertinent question coming in from a few people, but we've picked one from a very familiar name, someone who's been part of our team here at Cricbuzz. So his question on #AskCricBuzzLive from Arun Gopalakrishnan is about something that has caused a bit of controversy over in England. The use of live analyst inputs excites me, he says, but then doesn't it open up the game for potential corruption? Do the coach and analyst become more powerful than the captain? And who is more accountable, captain or coach and analyst? Of course, the issue we're talking about is the England team using these huge signboards to assist players on the field, perhaps, as tactical signals. We maybe see a bit of it in American sport, but in a very different context. It's very stats heavy over there, not necessarily to try and assist players on the field. Michael, your take on this, because it's something you've been pretty vocal about, even when you've written about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go through the question. I'll start with the bottom one. Who's accountable? I hope sport never changes, that the 11 players on the field are accountable for the performance. That fundamentally has to stay as it always has been. Of course, the coach has to be accountable for preparing the team. I hope we don't go through an era where the analyst is accountable. I just don't accept that can be right. The captain and coach, in particular the captain and the 11 players, are accountable for the performance out in the field. Secondly, I mean, I kind of look at analyst role in the game of cricket over the years. It's got more and more important. I love it. I like it a lot. I love the data side of the game. I just can't have that an analyst on a balcony sending messages is good for the game of cricket. First and foremost, players, and Zach's been in the Mumbai Indians dressing room, they get given that much information. There's not one player in that team that wouldn't know the matchups of the opposing team. There's not one player in that team that wouldn't know who's going to be more successful, or in terms of the data and the stats given, should be more successful against certain players in the opposing team. An England captain like Eoin Morgan is the best white ball captain we've had by a good distance. If he needs messages sent out or needs a bit more information, there's ways of doing it privately without the analyst being in vision and being seen. And the most important aspect is actually that first question about the corruption side of the game, where I actually look at what the ICC have done over the years, and it's right, they've been very anal in their approach to match fixing, as they should be, particularly with the players in terms of who they speak to, phones being given in, no contact with anybody on the pitch pre-match, don't give any information in terms of teams, any kind of data about what's happening. Keep that all private, as it should be, because the anti-corruption units were very keen to make sure that players were away from anybody. Yet they've so far allowed an analyst to code from a balcony. I just don't quite get that. And I think that first question is absolutely right, that it could be a trigger to fixers in the ground. I know there's no or not many around the world that are having supporters at the minute, but I really do feel that the ICC have to look at this, because for one, I don't like it. Even if there wasn't any kind of corruption around, I don't like it. I just don't think the game needs it. I think there's enough information. And I also don't want to take away from that physical, that human decision-making process out in the middle. I think it's so important for sport that people out in the middle still make decisions. And you know what? You get some right, you get some wrong. That's the game of cricket. It's sport for you. So that in a nutshell is my kind of bugbear about this new kind of system. I don't think it's going to last. England using it, it's been used in the Pakistan Super League. No secrets in cricket. Zach will tell you that. It'll go around the world like wildfire. Everyone will know. They might change the number, they might change the letter. The opposing team will know exactly what's going on. And I don't see what message from the balcony could really surprise the opposing team. So there you go. There's my opinion on it.
Zahir, a quick response from you on that, because you've played in an era when it was much more decision making on the field, and you've been in a dressing room where it's in sort of the information age, as you like it.
Michael has covered all the angles. there's hardly anything left for me to add. I think the messaging which is so open, always going to create issues. It's about decoding. So when you have you're decoding the batsman, you decoding how they're planning the game, and you're always trying to stay ahead of it. Now there will be one more layer added in terms of decoding these messages, and what does it say for you to stay ahead. and eventually, currently also, if you see, the timeouts are there to have these inputs. You have a 12th man running in at times, carrying that message, not only just the gloves and water. So that is happening, and I think that is the best way of conveying it in a most private way. So that is the important factor here. Well, if you don't have a great captain, then you can always think of these innovative methods to get the message across as fast as possible, so the delay is not there. But
Exactly.
More often than not, you will see all the captains who are captaining at the international level. They are experienced guys who can handle pressure, who can be strategically good, and small little help here and there. Everyone is always open to. You've seen players gather together in between the match, to take that collective call. It's the same thing what the coach is also doing from outside. So it's just about having that much experience and getting that basic understanding of the game and evolving and taking that impulse on call decisions under pressure. You don't have to be so open about communication. Having said that, I think the game is evolving, and you will see some kind of progression around how the message is conveyed. But having it so openly displayed out there for everyone's viewing, even though it's coded, not a great idea.